and welcome back to another Tween Crafternoon here at the Scott County Public Library in Georgetown, Kentucky. Today, I will be showing you how to make your own little paper squishies. They're not the little foam ones, they're made of paper. So, you will need just a few things. I almost called them ingredients, but that's not quite the right word because we're not making a recipe. You will need some paper, scissors, tape, and some stuffing. Maybe from an old pillow, or you can get giant bags of this stuff from the store, basically any store, pretty much. So, to start, you can either print out some design, which is what I did because I've decided my drawing skills are not up to par for these videos. I've seen what I did last time and it wasn't pretty. So, this, or if you want to draw your own design, that is totally great too. You are going to want 2 copies of the design, or you are going to want to copy this design, copy the outline so that it is blank, depending. So my little unicorn here, I traced it, but then there's nothing on the back, it's just white. Now, I'll show you a slightly different option later, once we get to that point. But that's what I'm trying to explain there. You need a front and a back piece of paper, basically. So, start off, you've got your paper. Leave it on the sheet of paper, and what you're going to do is completely cover the back side of the paper with tape. I'm going to use this big old roll of tape because it's a little bit more time efficient. But if you just got regular Scotch tape, that's totally cool too. So I'm going to lay it down, flatten it out. Oop, this tablecloth doesn't want to stay. Let's go. You want a little bit of overlap between the 2 pieces of tape. Just, basically you're laminating this piece of paper. That's probably some real fun, not quite ASMR, because that's not a great noise there, but, you know, it's a fun noise for you. So, I can tell through my paper, I can see the faint outline of my design, that I have covered it completely, so I don't need to cover up the rest of the paper, that's fine. Now, if this is the front part of your little squishy, you are going to want to cut out the design. So you've got the back taped, but not the front. If this is the back side of your design, you are going to want to tape the front part first. So, here is a piece that I have done. It is taped on both front and back. Your next step for your back piece is to cut this out. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, I have got my back. It is just the design. I just printed a couple extra copies so that I would have matching sides. It is taped on the front and back. I don't know if you can tell from here, it probably just looks like a piece of paper. We've got that ready to go. Now, oh well, I've got 2, that's fine. This is the one I taped on just the back side. This is going to be the front of my squishy, and I'm going to cut it out now without having taped the front. So, more cutting. Let's do this. You want to try to cut them out as matchy-matchy as possible. My cutting skills are not perfect, but, you know, cut it out as close as you can to make them match. You all are learning from my mistakes, because when I made my unicorn sample, I did not do it this way, and it was much more difficult. So I'm not even going to tell you how I did it, because that was a mistake. Alright, so, I've got my back piece, I've got my front piece. Now, I'm going to cover my front piece in tape, completely. And I want to make sure this time that there is definitely some overlay around the outside of my little paper squishy. So, I'm going to completely cover it. If you want to get it nice and stuck, the easiest way is to turn it upside down and then push the air bubbles out so that you don't stick it to the table. And again, we want a little bit of overlay to completely laminate it. We'll squish it. Flip it back over for our next piece. I think my tape roll's almost out. Squish those air bubbles out. And we need one more piece, and oh my, I was right, that tape roll is almost out. Haha, I had just enough, it's perfect. Okay, so we've got that overlay. I am going to trim it down a little bit now. You want like a centimeter? I'm bad with measurements. You want a little bit of a gap, like an outline around your design. So let's go. Whoop, 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 whoop. Get that out of here. And this part is kind of fun, by which I mean not fun to cut, because you're cutting tape and it's nice and sticky. So I would go in small sections and cut off what you can. I'm just sticking that tape out of my way so I don't get it stuck back to my scissors again. Alright, that should be pretty good. So, I've got my front piece, which is completely taped on the back side, and on the front side, we've got sticky bits all around there with an outline. My back side is taped on both sides. Now, I am going to put the top front on top of that back piece, and here is how we are going to attach them. I am going to start at the top because I want to leave a hole at the end to stuff the stuffing into this little squishy cat here that I'm making. And I think that the bottom is going to be a much better place to stuff it into than the top, just for my purposes. You could do either way. If you make a circle, it doesn't matter, just leave a hole. So, I am going to take my scissors again and cut a little snip into the tape. And you are going to want to do this basically all the way around, but it is much easier if you kind of snip and fold as you go. So, I've got that top piece, and I'm going to fold it all the way over around, and like so. And this is why I said that if you have too many angles, it's going to get very difficult, because you're going to have to make teeny tiny little snips all around this thing. I've got some round bits, which makes it a little bit harder to fold, because tape is, you're folding straight pieces around an edge, and it can be a little difficult. But as long as you make enough little like notches in there, I realized my fingers were hiding what I was doing there, and then fold over like so. If you notice that your front and backs are not matching perfectly, it's fine. Just kind of fold it to meet. It's gonna get puffy anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Just make sure your edges match. You are going to continue like so all the way around, leaving your hole at the bottom. And I've got one prepped that I did. And for the back of this one, I decided that my little kitty needed a big ol' round tail on the back. It's a little more like a bunny tail than I think about it, than a cat, but you know, that's what I went with. He's a very round, chunky kitty. So, we've got just that little bit of edge there, the tape. And I'm going to take my fluffy stuff, and I'm going to stuff it down in there. And if you need to, if you've got little bits like these ears, I'm going to take this stick and shove it down in there to really stuff it up. There we go. When I made this unicorn, I was stuffing it and accidentally popped open a seam, but that's okay. That's where your tape comes in handy. You can just slap another piece of tape on the front there and fold it over, and bam, it's all good. So let's finish stuffing this little cat here, and we will finish it up. You can do as little or as much stuffing as you want. I'm gonna make him real chunky, because that's what I'm feeling. Get it up in his fluffy little head. Oh yeah, I might be able to stick all of this in there. Okay, now gonna pull my bottom edges together, and I'm going to finish with my taping over. And I noticed when I was making this earlier that I may have made some of my tape edges a little short, and again, if that's the case, add some more tape. It's all good. Ooh. And if you find, like, this piece, because I was stuffing right there, and it got a little less sticky, it's fine. It's still kind of sticky, so I'm going to fold it over, and then I'm going to put tape on the back side just to help keep it down. There's already tape everywhere, you can't even see it. So, we are almost done here. Come on, Mr. Kitty. And fold trick onto the front. And voila! I have got a little paper squishy. My little kitty cat that's going like this. So, that is how you make your own little paper squishies. And it, I mean, again, you essentially laminated it, so, I mean, technically it's probably waterproof. I don't know that they float, but I guess you could try that. If you do, let me know. I'm kind of curious now. But I will see you all next week for, I believe, another episode of Book Bites with Ms. Mary Lou. I hope you all have fun this summer. Make sure you stop in for summer reading, and I will see you all later. Bye, guys.